works as a base for further action. Environment questionnaire, a set of questions designed with the aim to know the basis of an individual and works as a base for further action.
This is the questionnaire section. Here, you will be required to provide a few basic information about yourself, such as your current educational status, your future goals, etc. This is just to draw a precursory sketch before you begin your journey with us and our mentors.
The benefits of the environment questionnaire for working executives is knowing your version and work towards making it better. Gap analysis is done to find right solutions, understanding and identifying your needs from the base and working towards it, as well as knowing and identifying your goals and what needs to be done next. The benefits of the environment questionnaire for university students is knowing their version and making it better, bringing you from the zone of concern to the zone of comfort, assist you adequately using your environment and support system, as well as recognizing the needs from the very beginning and working on the same. The benefits of environment questionnaire for school students is knowing their version and making it better with an external expert view, help them leverage their environment and support system to drive them correctly, help them bridge a gap.
So many a times people confuse self-love with being selfish. And how do we differentiate between the both of them? And how do we sort of draw a demarcation where self-love is not being selfish? And how do we know that we're not being selfish even though we are indulging ourselves in self-love?
So, selfish would be when someone, is engaging in a behavior or doing something that is that has a personal benefit to them, but also at the same time it is causing inconvenience to others, like at the cost of inconvenience to somebody else. That would be more of a selfish act, whereas self-love will be where you are indulging in understanding more yourself about what exactly are boundaries for you or what are exactly your likes, things that basically not only to know for yourself but also to be able to communicate to the people around you, so that also it will have like the added benefit of an effective communication, but also it will enhance relationships and all, and also you're not really how do I say, like you're not causing any harm or any danger to that other person in that self love, because when you're fully aware of exactly what you are in life and what you want from people you are talking to, it becomes easier that way. And also you learn so much about what you want in life, what you expect from other people, and what your thoughts are, how your feelings are towards certain things in life, right? So you get to know what your shortcomings also are, right? So if somebody has like a very negative pattern of reacting to certain situations, that also they can get to realize and break that pattern. So that's how the main difference is. Basically, selfish is at the cost of causing inconvenience to somebody else, whereas self love doesn't really cause any inconvenience. It does the quite opposite. It tries to prevent that from happening, as much as it can.
That's
So yes,
yes,
that
ma'am. I
would be
agree.
the difference.
My perspective about human life is it has two aspects. For some of you who are grown up enough to have babies and children of your own, or some of you who are young enough to have parents of your own and still around. I lost my mother a few years back. I too still have a father who's 90 plus, though lives with my elder brother. But anyways, if you have somebody younger or somebody elder whom you madly love, for the younger ones, what would you be suggesting to them? Beta khush raho. You failed in the exam, you couldn't make it through the final stages, you tripped on the very first step. The person who really loves and cares for you more than his own life or her own life would always tell you, beta khush raho. Why? Because the things are not in favor of you. But what can you still choose to be is happy. And that's a choice.
Very favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the
If
same.
you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें से बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores, they see your habits, they see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second
So
thing,
what
how
are
do
the
we
changes that's happened? Things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life, because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing, there are lots of things that can be done as well from home and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much for work, because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1 hour meeting to Chennai, or for some training session to attend in Dubai, and that's
The
definitely
way
going to
I
change.
look at analyzing work, or a analogy to work, is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical, and life is
The
all to do
message
with the
here
flow.
is we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where finding it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then, if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge.
A very good evening to one and all present here. In these tough times, I hope all of you are safe and healthy. As it is rightly said by Sir Napoleon Bonaparte, a leader is a dealer in hope. On such a good note, let's begin today's webinar, which is on leadership principles for success in life and surviving in pandemic. Next slide. Steps to avail the e-certificate. A. Attend the complete webinar. B. When you see thank you on the screen, there will be appear a link to Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. C. Fill the questionnaire you get on mail for your details. D. Follow our page. Whether you did or not is also in the questionnaire. If you did and replied in affirmative, and actually did not follow our page, you will not get the e-certificate. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you. Mentor Mitra. Welcome you all. Mentor Mitra is a mentoring organization. Our aim is to guide individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their academic performance to optimal. Our involvement helps students to set the right goals and enables them to define and manage their priorities as well as enhance their emotional quotient. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Miss Pooja Avasti. Let's introduce Pooja Avasti. Miss Pooja Avasti is a leadership coach. She has been an educationist and entrepreneur, a soft skill expert, and an image consultant. She has extensively worked in the area of leadership development and has conducted 1,000+ sessions in leadership, soft skills, and wellness counseling, while having mentored thousands of families for health and wellness. Miss Pooja is one of the esteemed mentors to mentor Mitra as well. Welcome, Miss Pooja. Please share your experience and shed light upon the same.
Yeah, good evening. Uh, Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak from your very esteemed, platform, and to speak on a topic that is something that I've constantly worked on is leadership. And leadership has a very special meaning today for a very simple reason that I don't think ever in the world has leadership principles tested as much as they are being tested today during pandemic times. We call it very very unprecedented times that none of us had actually ever thought that we would in our lifetime experience something like this. So leadership principles are something which are very very universal, and are there for good times, and also the same principles also apply during times which are very very tough. And I think this one saying always comes to me whenever I think about adversity, whenever I think about the times that we are facing today, is when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? And this is a very very uplifting statement and really applies in today's world. So there are a couple of principles that I'm very quickly going to be talking about, touching on. Of course, each principle is a topic in itself, a session in it itself, right? But I'm just going to touch through it. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure there have been sessions that have already been done about it. Of course, leadership definitely means being your own mindset manager, right? We all have a mindset. We all have a thought process. There are so many thoughts that go through our mind every minute of the day, and there are so many thoughts that happen throughout the entire day. So during these times we need to be our own mindset manager, just like a air traffic controller who actually decides which plane has to land, which runway, right, which plane has to be diverted. So similarly, we during these times have to really think about which are the thoughts that we are actually going to let them sit in our brain, right? Rest in our brain, right? And which are the thoughts that we just need to brush aside and say, oh, I don't need to dwell on it. I don't need to think about it, right? So it's very important in these times to become your own mindset manager here. So mindset manager, also I'll be talking about certain points which are connected with it, but one of them is they're definitely deciding which thoughts are allowed to come into your brain and stay there, right? And always remember there are two formulas in life. One is of course ABC, area beyond control, and the other is AUC, area under control. So a lot of things that we are experiencing today, I think it becomes very true today because there are certain areas that are beyond our control. There's nothing we can do much about it, right? But there are some areas which are under our control, and we really really need to get good at it. We really need to get good at the areas under our control. How can we do them better? How can we kind of make things better for us? How can we create that kind of frequency around us, that that vibration around us with our thoughts, with our mindsets, with the actions that we are doing? How can we make it better so that things starts actually working for us. Because a lot of times, I hear that, things are going against us, bad times. And yeah, maybe yes, but that's area beyond control. The pandemic is an area, it's spreading, it's it's not something that you and I can really control, apart from some certain things that we can do, certain habits and certain protocols that we can follow and we should follow. But there are, with every adversity comes certain things which will definitely always be in our control. So let's work on those things, right? So I think the area which is under our control is our positive attitude, right? So I know there is a lot of negativity around us, and I just hope all of you are safe and healthy, and you're keeping yourself safe, and you're keeping your loved ones safe as well, right? But and I also know that every family somewhere down the line has been impacted. There is some sickness, some challenge connected to the pandemic in a lot of people. Specifically, if I talk about India, yes, India is going through a lot of difficult times at this point of time, right? So how do you develop, or how do you kind of always keep your attitude positive, is something that we control. And like I said, whatever thoughts that we have, we vibrate at a frequency. There are vibrations. So when we vibrate at that frequency, things automatically also kind of adjust around us, right, to make things better. So very, very important. And there's a lot of work that's gone into this. There's a lot of research that has gone into it. And yes, people are talking very openly. The scientists also are talking, doctors are talking about this, right? So everybody is talking about this. So positive attitude becomes very, very important, right? Now, how do you keep a positive attitude, especially during these times? Just stay away from negativity, stay away from media for some time, or just time. How much time yourself, how much time are you going to be spending, listening to the news, or any such, or reading it on your phone. Just allocate a very small short time, so that you're just abreast with what things that are happening around you, right? And of course, another thing is, this it's called something today, and I kind of really, it makes a lot of sense, is WhatsApp University. Right? So everybody is becoming an expert with WhatsApp. So just stay away from any negative news also that is circulated there. So why not deliberately kind of go through some positive quotations every day. We have a beautiful one here. So negative people are always afraid of change, and positive people are always looking forward or ready for new experiences, right? So there are so many positive quotations, or there's so many positive thoughts that you can also Google and find out, right? And why not send it to everybody in your circle also? So why not uplift ourselves rather than get all the negative news that puts us down? Why not uplift ourselves with something good, right? And always remember this song. I think this is something that each one of us can play. It's a song which is very, very old. The singer is sorry, it's just kind of very, very old song. It says what a beautiful world, right? So I know it's very difficult at times to say that, but I always keep saying to myself, this time will pass, and what a beautiful world it is, right? Where everybody has the resilience. The medical fraternity is working so much. Things have come. Last year we were talking about whether vaccines will come, when will vaccines come. Suddenly this year we've already been vaccinated, some of us, right? So things have really gone well also. Why not dwell on those things rather than dwell on certain things which are negative, right? I think very important is read books, right? That's the best way to keep yourself positive. Your mental health is very, very important during these times, and pandemic is giving rise to a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental health issues. So read that. Books have such a fantastic way of instilling positivity inside you. It could be a case study, it could be a story, it could be something so meaningful written. Because when you're reading, it's so non-judgmental. When somebody is trying to tell you something positive, you feel, oh, this person is giving wisdom, or is trying to tell me something, maybe because of XYZ reasons. But when you're reading, it's very non-judgmental. You just read it, and you're not experiencing all those thoughts then. You just read, and you learn, and you absorb, right? So make books your best companions during this time. That will be your best investment, and of time and money spent on buying those books and time spent on reading these books, right? Be aware of things, but like I said, not overly, kind of always be there, right? Be in the environment of positive people. There are some people who are positive. You love to be in their energy. You vibrate in a different frequency when you're around them, right? Even if it's a two lines, when you stop, when you keep down the phone, you feel nice. You feel nice that you've spoken to that person, you feel uplifted, right? And there are some people that you talk to and you feel, oh my god, it was heavy, or you don't have that very good feeling, right? So during this time, take a deliberate decision to talk and be in the company. If you can't be in the company because of social distancing and a lot of other things, maybe other countries, they don't have such strict norms because pandemic is in control in those countries, right? Be in the environment of people who uplift you and have a lot of positivity emanating from them is something that you kind of, it helps you and your vibrations and your frequency also, right? And don't ever repeat negative news. The more you repeat it, the more you talk about it, the more it stays in your mind. Your body again goes through the whole thing of that grief, that negativity. If you keep repeating the same things, your cells react in the similar manner, right? Your entire body reactions are the same. So the more we repeat, the more we are repeating those processes, right? And the more we repeat, the more it's going to leave an imprint in our brain of something, right? So be very aware that do not kind of talk too much about it, right? Then of course, next is mindset managers do is set goals. So this is the best time to set goals. A busy mind, doing something is will keep you absolutely there where your positivity is concerned or your thinking is concerned. So make it short term goals, make it have a monthly goal, then have a weekly goal, then have a daily goal, right? Because then again, the saying that I remember, an idle mind is a devil's workshop, because it just kind of creates a lot of things which are not very good and healthy for us, right? So why not stay busy? And also, best time to kind of work out a lot of areas, and I'm sure lots to do students, hey, lots to catch up on, isn't it? Right? Lots to plan for. Young professionals, best time to kind of of course, I'm sure working is there, you're working from home, but also to kind of learn newer skills. So set goals, because if you don't think about it, time will pass. Every adversity also creates a very big opportunity in life, right? So it's up to us whether we are looking at the adversity or whether we are looking at the opportunity, right? And it's also important for us to keep ourselves there, positive. Things are happening. So goals are very important, because the moment you set goals, your mind shifts from certain things to more progressive things in life, because you are now in an activity mode. Your brain is thinking differently. Your brain is looking at solutions, right? Rather than the challenges and the other things that happen, right? And these are leadership principles. I mean, if you have to create something, if you have to lead and create something in life, goals are something which are very, very important. And also, having a meaningful goal really makes a huge amount of difference to where you're going in life, right? So this is best time to remain focused and busy in life, right? Okay. So now the other thing that I want to talk to you about is, see, goal setting is also something that we can talk for hours on goal setting, right? And this is a goal is a desire of what you want with the date written on it. So it could be anything. So first of all is, of course, it has to be meaningful for you. It has to be a smart goal. You know, you can, like I said, goal setting is huge topic. So make it a smart goal for yourself and something which is measurable also, and then breaking it down. If you need a help, well, that's what mentors are for, right? So take their help. First find out what you really want. Take their help. Break it down into small bite-sized pieces, right? And then it becomes exciting, achievable, doable, exciting. And then also, every time you're achieving certain things, it just sets a very good rhythm of achievement, so that also really helps. So that becomes important, right? And then also very important is, what goals give you is a lot of hope and excitement in life. right? We can live without food for some time, but we can't live without hope at all, right? And I always remember this little experiment, science experiment that somebody had done on two containers, huge containers where they had kept some frogs, and one container was always closed, so they just kept moving in inside, and the other container, every once a day they used to open it, let the frogs come out, have a peep outside of what was happening, and then close the container. So the container which was never opened, the frogs did not survive for a very long time. But the surprising part was that the ones that were allowed to come out even once a day and peep and have a look at the outside world survived for much, much, much longer than the other ones. So that's what hope does to you, right? And hope is something which is so very important. And when you are in a journey of achieving meaningful things, meaningful, you're moving towards it. What it gives you is a lot of hope. And when you can do it, and you know how it's done, you give hope to a lot of people, around you. Can you just see how things then are done differently? First you achieving something and then giving hope to someone that this is how things can be done. And what people are looking for today is actually solutions and hope. They know about the challenges, right? I don't want to be somebody who wants to talk about what challenges are happening outside. They're there, it's happening. I would rather give hope and solutions if possible. And the only hope and the only way I can give hope and solutions is if I've experienced it myself, right? So I think this is what is needed. This is what is needed in the world, and this is what is going to be needed in the world for years to come, right? So excitement is also very, very important. So obviously, when you're doing something, you're excited about it. But you know what? I think practice excitement in life. If it doesn't come naturally to you, practice excitement. It could be a song, it could be something that you enjoy. You can stand in front of the mirror, and be excited about something, or just shout, in your room, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about getting up in the morning today. I'm excited that my family is touched with healthy. Find any small reason to be excited today, but be excited. It's infectious, right? So be really excited. And again, it just the vibrations, you vibrate in a different frequency, right? You just vibrate in a different frequency. And again, things starts adjusting accordingly around you. Is it important? You bet it is. Like I said, a lot of things have been done and research during these pandemic times where, these things are important, right? Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is that, we can't go outside today. So why not go inside? Why not spend this time introspecting? Why not spend time in getting to know ourselves, right? So when was the last time that you actually sat down with yourself and had a meaningful conversation with yourself, right? And actually got down to understand more about yourself, right? This is the best time to do that, right? So find out what your strength areas are, right? What are the things that you're good at? You can ask other people, but I think we all know, sometimes we know this is good. And how do we know we are good at this? Because that gives us pleasure, that gives us joy, that gives us excitement. That is something that we would want to, or something that we are wanting to do. Maybe not very good at it, but wanting to do. I think identifying that part also becomes very important. What are your challenge areas, right? Children always say, if I have to find my challenge area, I need to talk to my parents. Yeah, sure, why not? Because they've seen everything, right? They've seen your good times, how good you are. They've also seen where you things that you struggle with. So maybe find out what your challenge areas are. Best time to work on it. Hey, what are the challenge areas doing for too long in our lives? Challenges are to be overcome, right? Challenge areas are not something that we have to carry all our lives and say, you know what, these were my challenge areas when I was 15, and these are my challenge areas when I'm 70 now. The same, right? So it's not a burden that we have to carry all our lives. That's something that has to be worked on. So best time to actually get to know what our challenge areas are and work on it, right? Really get down to finding solutions. Again, I say that's what mentors are for. Find out how you can work on it. How can you improve? Take it on yourself, set goals there. Be excited about working on your challenge areas, right? And get over it, right? What are the kind of achievements that you really want in your life? What are the things that you want for yourself, right? Where would you want to be, what kind of achievements would you want for yourself, right? Everybody has a value system, and they say, oh, if I'm really good at this, or I'm really good at this, I'm happy, I'm done, I'm sorted. These are the lines that we use for ourselves, right? And who are you? Let's say if you were to introduce yourself to someone, right? You had to write a paragraph about yourself and send it to people, or you had to introduce yourself. How would you introduce yourself? What would you write about yourself? I feel this is so important to do, because that's the best way of knowing you, what your value systems are, what your aspirations are, what your achievements are, right? So how would you write down this paragraph and introduce, how you would introduce yourself, right? And also create a timeline of 5 years, 10 years down the line. So where you are right now, what are the kinds of aspirations you have? What are the kind of achievements would you want? Can you create a timeline of 5 years, 2000, you know uh, uh, 26, then 31, right? So can you create a timeline and say, okay, this is where I'm right now, this is where I would want to be in 5 years. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. For some people it could be 2 years and 5 years, whatever works for you. Create a timeline with the areas that you really want to to excel in. So these are some of the things that can help you to find out what you are really good at, what are the challenge areas, and where you would really want to be in your life, right? So like I said, all these topics is something that we continuously do, we teach, and also it's a session on itself. So I've just kind of compressed the whole thing for you, but I just want to tell you one thing. I just want to leave you with a thought here, that from great adversity comes great opportunities. If you look at world war, and in 1930s, 40s, a lot of things that we use in the world today were actually invented then. A lot of time, when there was a lot of death and destruction, a lot of people were also busy doing these things, finding out what their passions were, finding out what their aspirations were, finding out what they're good at, finding out what their challenges were, and they were working on it day and night, because they wanted to get certain things done. And thank God for those people, thank God for those dreamers, thank God for those achievers, that all the modern inventions and great things that happened after that is we've all experienced it. So similar kind of things are also going to happen post this huge adversity which the entire world is facing. So I hope you make things happen for yourself. You don't just watch what is happening, you make things happen. And I'm definitely sure that when you are connected with Mentor Mitra, you are never going to be in that category of people wondering what happened, right? So you will make things happen. And I would just want to end up and say, it's a beautiful world, right? It's healing, things are getting back, and it's here. Things are like this for a reason. We just need to find our mojo here. We just need to find what is something that drives us, and this adversity can be a huge opportunity for each one of us. It's been great talking to you guys, and thank you so much. You've been absolutely great listeners and audience. I'm going to hand you back over to the MC now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experiences and valuable advice on leadership. I am sure everyone listening is more informed on this topic now. Now we're here with our Mentor Mitra courses, beginning with the programs for working professional. There is Compass Pro course for the duration of 1 month, which is very helpful if you just want to get better in a month. The second is Habit Forming Pro course, which is for 3 months. We all understand how uprooted our habits are and they need to be changed. Second is the program for school students, which is Ensuring Optimizer course for 12 months. Second, Habit Forming course for 3 months. Third, Compass Pro course for 1 month. Third, program for university students, we have Habit Forming course for 3 months and a Compass Pro course for 1 month as well. Program for working professional, Compass Pro course, 1 month of engagement. This engagement help you set right direction, course, and correct your going journey. Habit forming program is of 3 months duration for direction setting and creating new habits for lifetime success as well as growth. The program includes SWOT analysis and personality assessment, analytical report based on the above stated facts. This is a very special feature because the report is based on systematic analysis and the conclusions drawn create a great impact. There is structured customized counseling one to one with 1 hour where our experts guide you at every journey you need from pin to piano. Our experts are there to help you. Customized template for your career roadmap and time tracker. Programs for working professionals also include a self-awareness program where you monitor yourself and enhance your skills and how on the path do you go. There is flexible counseling sessions with mentors for total 2 hour time in a month. As it is rightly said, with the right mentor, you are right and in your path. There are more features like free access to webinars during the month, which are going to encourage you, and our support facility, which is 24/7 available to solve all the queries possible. Features and benefits of the program. The objective Mentor Mitra has is Mentor Mitra spirit and endeavor is to engage with the working people and help them improve in their current performance, enhance their motivation level, do a dipstick on their strength and development areas to see a match between what they do and what they should be doing actually. Fourth, help them plan their short term goals, which is in 3 months to 12 months, and long term goals, which is from 1 year, 1 to 5 years. It is the right time to answer the question where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Fifth, enhance their emotional quotient so that it adds to their ability to deal with success and failure without getting disturbed and get a winning attitude. Sixth, customized working on the needs of enhancing soft skills and grooming. Seventh, time and priority optimization to have control over work life balance and eventually success. Let's see what Time Tracker has and the benefits for the Time Tracker app. The Time Tracker app is designed to know where and how can your activities be revised and your time can be used effectively. In the Time Tracker template, you're supposed to input your activities and the amount of time you have spent on them. Statistical data will be provided on the basis of that, which will help your mentors to take further action. The benefits for working professional are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, identifying what creates positive energy which can be unleashed for you to maintain your work life balance. The benefits for university students program are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you identify and work on positive energy creators in your schedule, events, and people as well. Identifying areas for productivity, success, and happiness. The benefits for school students are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals, and creating new ones if needed, helping you drive the areas of right association, acts, and creating right energy for your preparation, as well as eliminate areas where you can save time and be more productive in your work schedule. The time track. So this is how we saw how this time tracker helps our students, working professionals both. Now, to access the program, please follow the simple steps. Step 1, download our app from Google Play Store. Step 2, go to home page. Step 3, go to programs page. Fourth, and the simple step, choose your program which you need to do. Step 5, click to pay. Step 6, make the payment. Step 7, you will get a notification from Mentor Mitra. Step 8, Our team will assist you for your assessments and counseling for the same. This is our page where this is our landing page. Our link has been mentioned. Please feel free to download the link and take a step ahead towards what you want. This is our QR code. You can scan this code and reach to our app. Presenting you our app Mentor Mitra. The features are the app is available on Play Store. You can download the app only on Android. Third, the download is free of cost, but the programs are paid. App is available in India, Philippines, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, and Thailand. It will be launched in other countries soon. Kindly download our help and get help in your career. 7. If you have any queries with the app, please feel free to contact us or drop a mail at contact@mentormitra.com or connect@mentormitra.com. We will be happy to assist you whenever needed. Okay, now presenting Anita Jayakumar. Welcome, Anita ma'am. The introduction for her is Anita Jayakumar is a seasoned corporate and business professional of over 2 decades. She is the founder of the Mindstream, a capability building firm, and co founder of the Money Stream, a financial service firm. Anita ma'am has a diverse experience and exposure in different geographies and different markets, different sectors, different functional roles, and know-how of established as well as startup environments. Anita ma'am currently manages the About to business after working with some of the biggest brands during her corporate career. Anita ma'am is also a polyglot who can speak all major Indian languages and gaining proficiency in 2 foreign languages. When Anita ma'am is not busy spreading the word about becoming a polymath through her training and coaching interventions, she can be found reading, cooking, or traveling. Anita ma'am advocates the philosophy of being a generalist over a specialist as a stronger building block for success. She describes the trajectory of her life as a series of happy incidents. Thank you, Anita ma'am. We welcome. Please throw us some light.
Thank you so much, Krisha. And that's the maximum number of times I have been referred to as ma'am in less than 1 minute. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. But thank you all so much for joining me this Sunday evening. Thank you, Pooja, for sharing some lovely thoughts. Indeed, a great reminder on many fronts. Thank you, Mentor Mitra, to show your testimony and commitment towards mentoring tomorrow. And on that note, I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership principles and surviving the pandemic. So, Rhythm, if you can take me to the next slide, and I'd love to start. I think, like Pooja, but I also would like to start with a quote. It's a slightly longer quote, but you might want to pay close attention. It's a quote by somebody whom I really, really look up to, which is Leonardo da Vinci. That's for another day, but the quote by itself is, in my opinion, very, very thought provoking, and something that if I were to like leave you with just one thought, then my request to each one of you who's watching right now and will watch later on, please see if you can imbibe this quote and live this quote. And what does it say? I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. It's the business of little minds to shrink, but they whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct will pursue their principles unto death. Well, this is something which Pooja also touched upon in the various things that she said. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening on the leadership scene and what can we take back perhaps from what's happening around us. Well, the way the world stands today, if you look at how many companies are coming across, and some of the things is what I have listed here. For example, I've spoken about how maybe Apple has taken an initiative to vaccinate their employees at their workplace. Mahindra and Mahindra, which is again a big giant, has paid for the vaccination of their employees. There is Amazon with its $800 million investment into COVID safety measures. There is Borosil, who's again doing a lot of benevolent things for the families of people who have, passed on due to COVID. Volkswagen has got literally like 100 points plan, Workday, Britannia. Well, I could go on and on about this particular list. Now, why am I talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about is I hope you understand what's the buzz that's going on around you. Pre 2020, if you were to look at the conversations of all these brands that I spoke about and many more, the conversation would probably a lot about top line, bottom line, or okay, am I a market leader, or what can I do to be a market leader? And it would be in the breadth of cutthroat innovation or cutthroat competition. Whereas now, thanks to the pandemic, I think the whole outlook has shifted where apart from the technological transition, that's a big one, right? Most of the companies have ended up investing heavily into technology so that their business as usual operations can continue as seamlessly as possible. Of course, as a result of that, a lot of empathy based conversations have started. Maybe if you guys have been in on the leadership scene or you're following certain articles, you know that the first buzzword these days with regards to leadership is empathy. Because is there any other way? Can I really work with my huge diverse workforce, or can I work with my family who's literally in my room breathing down my neck if I were to not practice empathy? So empathy is like clearly something to look out for and something to really follow when I'm dealing with anybody. And last but not the least, if I were to talk about leaders in a workplace context, organizational context, of course, there's a lot of focus on employees' overall mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Very different from organizing birthday cakes, right? Very different from organizing large conferences or outbounds, because everybody is trying to do the best that they can do. So on that note, today if we were to talk about leadership, then I would say they are three pronged. So if I can go to the next slide, this is how the leadership mantra looks as of today. Three pertinent, three very critical, three important, three do or die, three survival mantras that most leaders are following today are these three. Number one, how do I really take care of my talent? Of course, yes. If I'm not able to take care of my talent, then what do I produce and how do I take care of the people who will consume those products, which is my customers? So the other thing is, of course, how do I engage with my customers? What kind of conversation do I have with my customers? But then, if you really notice, the bigger shift that has happened is how do I really contribute to the community? So when you're talking about principles, talking about leadership, or even as an individual, if you really want to look at it, imagine, like let's say there is so much of news, there is so much of noise, there is so much of data. There are so many things that are happening around the world. But let's say today my family member were to undergo something, then my only concern is, will I be able to arrange that oxygen bed? Will I be able to arrange the right kind of hospital? Now, in that case, all the news in the world is not what's going to help us. But one thing that's clearly going to help us, and in fact, it has helped me help others as well, is the whole sense of community. So whether it is, am I like a part of a school group, or am I part of a community group, a Toastmaster group? It doesn't matter. A leadership group, a CEO group, entrepreneur group. It really doesn't matter. The power of the community has never ever been felt like today, because today I can just reach out to that community, and get that right information at the right time to rise above the voice. So this is the new mantra of leadership. Here's what I'd like to share with all of you. Moving on, I'd rather, rather than say to you as to what could be the leadership principles, I want to really leave you with exploratory questions. I want you to really pay close attention to these questions, because when you ask yourself these, somewhere in them is where I believe the answers are. For example, what are you most curious about today? Or what new skill or strategy? What is the new learning? What is the new association that you can build today, which can take your team, your company, your community, and yourself ahead? Don't get me wrong. Today, if there is a leader or if there is an organization, which is over talking the business angle, which is over talking the numbers, then they are definitely not going to be considered great employers in the long run because of the empathy quotient not being there. So, what are you curious about? So, am I curious about well being? Am I curious about us collectively passing on this phase? Then, yes, maybe I'm slowly beginning to get the pulse to the first principle. Am I having the right kind of curiosity? The second thing is, can I follow it through with action and test through experience? Today, most of the people are forced to take decisions day in, day out, and they have no clue whether it's going to work in the long run or whether it is going to work in the good way or not. You see so many youngsters literally becoming overnight call centers. You see so many youngsters or other tech people overnight designing apps which can help people overcome the pandemic in some way or the other. Whatever happens tomorrow, the fact is, today, most of us, even in the situation of crisis, if we do our best to try something new, follow it through action, and test it with experience, we will definitely be wiser for tomorrow. Wouldn't all of us like that? So, wouldn't that be a great principle to imbibe? The third thing is, how are we showing up in our world? Whether it's as a leader or whether it's as an individual family member, how am I showing up today is extremely critical. You all know this. I mean, I'm sure many of you have experienced this, whether it's birthdays, whether it's weddings, whether it is, and I'm sorry to say this, whether it is funerals. We are all used to attending that, all of that online. Now, could we even have imagine how we were pre 2020? We were having travel plans. We were having we. It's like life literally shifted. Trust me, sometimes I feel like okay, is this how alien world also looks, where everybody's confined to one place and glued to a screen? Has its huge advantages though. But yeah, the third thing is, am I showing up in my world, or how am I showing up in my world? Although there could be a lot of bad things happening around, am I showing up in the best way possible, or am I contributing to the negative vibe? In fact, Pooja also spoke about this. The whole world is, and I sincerely agree, is about vibrations. So when I'm showing up, is somebody being insecure because of me, or is somebody feeling hope because of me? Is somebody feeling happy because I have spoken to them, or is somebody feeling sad and dejected and going deeper down in a hellhole? So how I'm showing up is a third principle that I would really love to consider. The fourth one: how are we holding our grace under pressure? How willing are we that we can walk into a path where maybe it's complete darkness and maybe nobody has gone before? I mean, whether it's the different kinds of research that's happening, or even at your and my level, maybe even the fact that kids are in the same space, or maybe that I'm not able to land the right opportunity, or maybe it's, I have no clue how my life is going to look like, how my relationships are going to look like. Lot has changed, right? I mean, although I can mean it in a lighter vein, it's not in a lighter vein. Even dating or anything, especially if those of you who are youngsters are watching this, you know that there are a lot of things which unknowingly could create a huge pressure in us. But then, how do I deal with that, and how much grace do I show in that circumstance is totally up to me, right? Like, it's totally my choice. So, because that's what is something that will build our own resilience, and that's what also will maintain that collective positive vibe that all of us, keep talking about. Yes, positive may not be a great word today anymore, but being positive will never go out of fashion. So that's the fourth principle. Fifth one: remember the art and science to everything. Now, by this, the point I'm trying to make is that this is the time when creativity, being creative, being innovative has become most important. The best of them have gone through it in the last year, where literally life seemed like it's going to come to a standstill, or everything seems like it'll come to a standstill. And the fact that we have versions now to the lockdown, I think now I've lost count. Lockdown 1, lockdown 2, lockdown 3, I mean, God knows, right? But then, while all this is happening, how can I get creative about showing up, whether in a work context or whether in a familial context? Can I over communicate? Can I try a little differently? I'm getting inducted online completely. What creative ways can I employ so that I still maintain the work ethic for myself and for the people that I'm going to work with? So, yes, remember the art and science to everything. It's always a great balance to work towards. The next thing is, self love. That I have faced, on occasion, where, especially with some tough clients, where, self love at one point of time, people used to feel like, oh my God, it's like some kind of a numbo jumbo, or is that like a thing, or maybe it's a thing that's only practiced by certain set of people. But trust me, never ever has this been more important, because we are going through stuff like we've never gone before, right? For stating the obvious. But then, if I'm not completely like secure about myself, if I'm not completely believing in myself, then it's very easy to crack. Trust me, last week itself, I heard, I heard this really close friend of mine, and she was like a fantastic lady in her early 50s, rocking it on Instagram, giving all the youngsters a run for their money. And then I heard the news about her, needing a plasma at about 2:30 p.m. And then evening she was no more. And I was like, I think one of the very few things that's really affected me was this. But then why am I telling you this? Is because we all might listen to some or the other thing that could affect us deeply, or we could be losing jobs, or we could be like, not able to get the opportunities that we want, or we might find it difficult to move on from the people who have passed on. So at that time, self love, please don't look at it in a selfish context. What I mean is that if we were to practice self love, which means being physically fit, being mentally fit, and that's again an area where a lot of people are showing up, right? Suddenly hobbies have become the new thing to do. Suddenly it's all about gardening, cooking, baking, camping in our backyards, and like, so many things that are there. Why? Because people are trying to make sense of it for themselves and investing in themselves in the process. Great idea, if you ask me. Never before has it been an important time when self love will prove to be so critical. Because if I love myself, I'll be able to maintain the composure required to distribute love to the others. I can only give others what I have, right? So if I love myself, I can love all of you as well. So self love, please invest in whatever kind of physical, mental, spiritual growth that you need to, in case you already are not. Last but not the least, and I think Pooja also gave some great examples for this with regards to, say, world war, etc. What's our belief about everything leading somewhere? Yeah, it could be a really bad day today, or it could be really bad time these days. However, it all will lead somewhere. I know that today so many things that are happening to me, and I've heard this from so many people out there, wouldn't be happening if it were also not to be to this pandemic. Yes, some of us are having it really rough, but tomorrow, maybe day after, maybe next year, maybe the year after, but it's all going to lead somewhere. And I truly believe that it's all going to work out well in the end. If it's not working out, it's still not the end. Maybe that's why we are probably now bracing ourselves for the third wave of COVID, right? We've already built our resilience. So the last principle that I feel is great to know, so what's your belief? How am I looking at this whole situation and about tomorrow? So on that note, if I were to move on, what I actually shared with you in terms of exploratory questions is borrowed from the seven principles of Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, though there are some great principles, there are Italian words to it. I would really request you to go through and lean into them. I definitely get a lot of my power from the seven principles. Having said that, can you be all this if you want to imbibe these principles? Can you be visible? And when I say visible, what I mean is that to every person, every family member, to every team member, in whatever way you can be visible, you can be reachable, can you be that? Somebody, just someday, for somebody, just a kind word could be more than enough. So never before has this been more important to stay visible in front of everybody. Emotional intelligence. Yes, emotional intelligence, which was like kind of a corporate buzzword buzzword till last year and something on which training programs were conducted. If you ask me, this is the time when everybody's emotional intelligence is really, really being tested. What am I doing to build my own emotional intelligence? Ability to zoom in, zoom out. This has got nothing to do the Zoom on which you and I are engaging. This is more about, I know I'm going to be stepping into a lot of hard things. I may be required to, let's say, take some tough business calls or take some tough individual personal calls. So if I have done that, then it's extremely crucial for me to also step back from it so that I, get back to my zone. Otherwise, if I'm stuck into something that may not be very helpful, I'll really lose myself. And that may not be great for the people around you as well. So make sure that you keep a balance of zooming in and zooming out. An example of that, of course, would be what kind of exposure am I maintaining with regards to, let's say, the death statistics or the ranking table that is there with regards to countries. I think in this case, think just a little local, think less global, and that's okay, because after all, you want to be able to help somebody around you rather than be well versed in the statistic with regards to what's happening in the world. But then your choice totally. Fact based decision making. At this point of time, if I'm going through, let's say, a tough situation, panic, anxiety, it's very natural for all these things to take over. However, not a great space to operate from if I have to make some decisions. So try and please be aware about the facts when you're taking any decision. Most important is to lead ourselves, because only if we are leading ourselves is will we be able to lead others, whether it's in a family context or a relationship context or in a work context. Ethical practice and civic mindedness. Yes, my neck probably will seem to be on the line, but then can I really force somebody who seems to have contracted COVID to come to work, to show up, to meet those customers? Obviously not fair, right? So it's extremely critical that I try and be as humane, as ethical, as civic minded as possible. It's definitely going to play a large role from an overall contribution to this world. I spoke about how innovation is extremely necessary, anyways, in every area of your life. And last but not the least, demonstrate and lead by example. The way, actions speak louder than words. We all know that. So always doing the right. I know that even in, in my own personal context, so many times I have seen, like when my partner and I are like stuck in the same place, it's like we try and demonstrate the positivity in even with the team. They feel dejected, they lose hope, and then you be chirpy, you be positive, and you try and contribute in the right manner possible. Because if you can be all this, trust me, not just principles, you've done something much more from a contribution to this world, your personal world and the world at large. So if this is what my request to you was, then some of my personal mantras are this. Unpredictability is something we really can get shaken up, right? So even I don't know with regards to both my businesses. Honestly, I have no clue with certain projects getting delayed, certain investors, not leaning in on me with regards to decisions. Yes, I go through some really, really unpredictable moments. But then I try and see what is predictable and I keep doing that. Extremely helpful, if you ask me. Finding the routine in the chaos is great. Fostering security. This is a time when really, really it's okay to take a step back and be and show more of kindness rather than, let's say, we try and be the star. Rejiggle financial plan. I would say this is a big one. I mean, even if you are the youngest person who's looking at this, my thing is try and be focused on the financial angle from the word go. Reduces the other stresses that you feel drastically. Start that systematic invest plan or invest in that smallest way possible. Look at your debt ratio, your savings, your habits, your life habits, everything. Because you know what? Amazon has not stopped working, Mintra has not stopped working. So all our online deliveries are happening. But what am I shopping for? Is my financial planning taking care of a unforeseeable time? Over communicate with everybody. Like, trust me, I mean, like with everybody. When Mentor Mitra reached out to me, and I was like, yes, let's do this. because you know what, this is my way of also again communicating that yes, it's all gonna be good. This too shall pass. There's no other way but for us to go through it together. Time to broad base the skills, and I really believe in this a lot. Another reason why I believe in Da Vinci also, he was a polymath 500 years back. To know so many different things or to dabble in different things will always place you better in terms of pursuing different career paths. If nothing, it will make you a great conversationalist. You have my word for it. It's also, these times are also an opportunity to build resilience through that, right? Kids, I mean, I'm amazed. I mean, in fact, I feel a little sad at times, but I'm also extremely proud about the resilience that these guys will show when, you know, today's 5-year-old tomorrow turns 10 or 15, or today's 15-year-old tomorrow turns 2025. I don't think they're going to face an event like this again. Touch wood, at least I hope not. And be mindful that what I appreciate appreciates. So if I'm appreciating negativity, if I'm giving focus to COVID all the time, then I'm sorry, that's what I'll keep seeing for myself, that's what I'll keep thinking for myself, feeling for myself. So be very mindful about what am I appreciating these days. You know, these days, what is it that I'm appreciating? That I'm still sleeping in my own bed. Sounds like a really small thing, but when I hear so many other stories about oxygen beds, ventilator beds, isn't this something that I can be really grateful for? So yes, what I appreciate. So I'm careful about what I appreciate. Explore different gigs. I mean, this is a time when you can, you know, teach somebody a new skill or yourself learn a new skill, or start pursuing that hobby that you thought 10 years back, read that article which you had saved for later, watch that video which you wanted to for the longest time. Do some different stuff, try different stuff. So what if you fail? It's okay, it's really still fine, it's going to lead you somewhere. And last but not the least, and Pooja also mentioned to it, make peace with what's beyond your control. Because what you can't control, you can't control, right? And the more I again lament about it, the more if I feel irrelevant about it, it's neither going to serve me nor is it going to serve others. If you're able to help anybody with some genuine information, genuine assistance, go all out, do it. But otherwise, just stay safe. Double mask if you're stepping out. That's what I would like to leave you at. On a parting thought, if that were my mantras, what are yours? So, on that note, thank you so much for this time today in the Sunday evening, and I'll keep seeing you around. Thank you, Mentor Mitra. Over to you, Krisha and Bridham.
Thank you so much, Anita ma'am. I completely agree that we should be thankful for just sleeping peacefully. Your insights have been very enriching to us. Now we would like to ask some questions to you and Pooja ma'am, and I'm sure you guys can enlighten more on this. Anita ma'am, the first question is for you. What are the most important values you demonstrate as a leader?
Empathy and kindness. I mean, I kind of believe in this, and I get criticized a little bit for it, but I feel like you should kill with kindness. You know, change people, change the way they look at certain things, or the way they are being, just by being kind and empathetic. All of us, there can never be enough of empathy and kindness in this world. So that's what I would say.
Okay, thank you, Anita ma'am. The next question is for Pooja ma'am. Which supporting skills do you think are the most important when it comes to leadership?
Supporting skills is, of course, one of them is definitely, doing what you say, right? And very important to lead by example. And also, I feel very, very important supporting skill for leadership is, the power of your spoken words, which is the credibility. So if you're saying something and you're doing it, right, that helps you and that helps a lot of other people, setting the right example.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. Now, this is a crucial question. I would like both of you to please put in your insights if possible. How to get rid of being self-conscious and anxious every time I'm on some kind of presentation and always facing people sounds fearful to me. This is one of the questions.
All right. Okay. Yeah, it's always there. It's always there. One is always self-conscious, and being a little kind of worried or a little bit of an anxiety there is normal. It's absolutely normal. I think people need to realize that part, that everybody has it. Every time I speak, I go up on stage or I speak in front of the camera, that it's, that feeling, that butterfly stomach is always there, right? And having said that, that actually helps you to excel, that helps you to do well, right? So if, you know first of all, if your content is ready, and you know what you're going to say, and you're going to be saying it from your heart, I think that gives you that confidence, and that gives you, and once you start, then things get absolutely normal. So like for everything in life, it's only till you start, those feelings will be there. So once you've done that, you know uh, things will be fine, and the more you do, you'll keep getting better. That feeling will continue to get will diminish, right? And you'll continue to get better with it. And Anita, I loved your your kindness. I think kindness is a new cool today, right? So I just love that part that you said. Yeah. So over to you. Your perspective now.
Of course, very valid points, Pooja, and I can understand this wherever this question came from. I think I was self-conscious for the longest time in my life, but I have this person whom I look up to as a mentor. Her name is Sue Knight, and she makes a statement which kind of changed my whole perspective. And after that day, I have never been self-conscious. So here's what she says: self-consciousness is self-indulgence. So you know what? When by if you're self-conscious, then I'm sorry, my friend, you're probably giving yourself a little too much importance. But let's say I'm very clear about the purpose to which I'm working towards, and I'm automatically going to get into that space where I'll be less self-conscious. So yeah, self-consciousness is self-indulgence. Indulge yourself in therapy, but not during presentations or anything that matters. Yeah, that would be my two piece.
Thank you, Anita ma'am. Thank you, Pooja ma'am. There's one more question I would like both of you to answer. Sometimes when we prioritize others, we tend to question ourselves or vice versa. How do we deal with it?
Sorry, can you just repeat your questions? When we prioritize?
I'm sorry. Sometimes when we prioritize others, we tend to question ourselves or vice versa. How do we deal with it?
Okay, so you want to take this, Anita, first?
Uh, sure. So here's how I would look at it, Krisha. The context is very, very important. When am I choosing to prioritize somebody else, and when am I choosing to prioritize myself? That equation for all of us needs to be healthy. Okay. For example, it's like I had to break news to my mom about a very close cousin of hers passing on. Okay. And so the past 3-4 days, it's like it doesn't matter what is going on otherwise, she's priority. Okay, so there's no question of then anything going awry with me per se. But similarly, there are times when I would make myself a priority because that is the right thing to do at that time. So, for example, let's say I'm doing this, and I had to show up at 7 o'clock. So yes, so from 6:45 I had to get into the zone, be prepared for it, and so at that time I may not entertain anything from anybody at all. So yes, to me the context is important, and if you have the context correct, I don't think there should be a issue. That's how I would look at it.
You know what I would say? Of course, totally agree with Anita on this. And yeah, it will largely depend upon the context, right? But I'll just give you a different perspective, because one perspective we have already got through, Anita, right? So I'm just going to give you another perspective, and that is self care and self love, right? So that becomes very important. There is this saying, and I totally agree to it, that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So it's only when you have enough self love and self care, you can also look after others better. You can also prioritize, and kind of, if you make yourself a priority, it's easy to help other people as well. When we are traveling in an airplane, and when those safety instructions come, there's always that thing that says that when the oxygen mask will drop, you first put it on yourself before you help a child or even an elderly. Why? Because very simply, if you have been using it, if you use it, you'll be in a position to help the others as well. So self love, self priority is very, very important, because that's how you would probably be able to help a lot of other people as well. But then, of course, contextually, we have to be smart enough, we have to be intelligent enough to know in which context, and balance out things. I think very, very important thing is balancing out things. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am, Anita ma'am. Those were the questions for the day. We really thank you on behalf of Mentor Mitra to giving us your precious time sharing this information.
Thank you so much for having us over.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I would like to thank all our audience for giving us your time and support as well. Thank you for attending and engaging in today's session with us. Lastly, I would like to repeat the steps to avail the e-certificate. A. Complete the webinar. Attend the complete webinar. B. When you see thank you on the screen, there will appear a link, a Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. C. Fill the questionnaire you get on mail for your details. D. Follow our page. Whether you did or not is also in the questionnaire. If you did and replied in affirmative and actually did not follow our page, you will not get the e-certificate. If all the above stated steps are followed automatically, an e-certificate will be issued online to you. You can contact us through any of the above mentioned platforms with your questions, feedbacks, as well as suggestions. Thank you, all of you, for attending this webinar and giving us this opportunity.